Are you a passionate entrepreneur eager to connect, learn, and grow? Whether you're just starting out or scaling up, the Bold Beginnings Meetup is your chance to fuel your startup spirit. Join us for coffee, inspiring conversations, and networking with like minded change makers. Is the perfect place to turn your passion into action and make bold moves alongside others who share your drive. Are you ready to make your mark? Register now at passionatepulse.com. Limited seats available. Have you got a passion project that lights you up but needs some more insider tips to take it to the next level? Bootstrap Banter is your new go to podcast. We are all about real talks, no fluff. Just actionable advice and inspiring stories from people like you who turn their passion into a thriving projects and then to startups. Whether you're just starting out or already on your way, we have got the strategies to help you push you through the roadblocks. In this series, you will hear real world strategies to grow without burning out or breaking the bank. Honest, no nonsense advices to help you level up your passion project. Whether it's marketing, scaling, or just finding the right directions, we are here to help you thrive. Book your strategy session today. Go to passionatebuzz.com and contact, or just buzz us on WhatsApp or text us on 341 209 0102. That's passionatepulse.com, one stop shop for your bootstrap banter. Namaskar, welcome to the Passionate Pulse podcast Bootstrap Banter series. In the Bootstrap Banter series, we discusses all the fundas that I'm taking in my passion emerging journey. And I want all of you to use that skeleton in your passion emerging journeys. And be tech, non tech, or any of the creative fields, you can take the same skeleton, same templates, and apply it in your passion oriented journeys. I'm very sure that these are the fundas that are very much applicable and very much study oriented, that one has to take it in their early phases of passion oriented journeys. Well, why we are even delving into the passion oriented journeys? For the very fact that you have something which is there within you. You know that there are some hidden magic powers that resides within you, and you want to give a life to a lot of ideas that are there in your heart, and you know that your strength aligns with all those ideas. You know that you can bring a lot of execution to those ideas, and bring in some innovative creative products out in the market for the beneficial of all your communities. Well, I must say that none of us are 100% complete in all the areas. We do need help in some of the other factors, in some of the areas that are not something that you have explored as a type of a job or a work situation you are in, or maybe the type of studies that you have done, or the ecosystem that you have surrounded with. We all need help in different angles whenever it comes down to emerging from passion to any small scale business or the mid scale business. Let's face it, initial times or the early stages, we are always crunch of the resources, be it a money wise or other type of a help wise. We are always limited on the resources. Operating with the optimistic resources is a skill in itself. And that's where this Bootstrap Banter series can definitely guide you, help you explore different angles that you're supposed to take in your own businesses or your passion oriented journeys. But before we begin today's episode, I must thank all my loyal audience who have been tuning to this Sapphire Radio in Silicon Valley's radio station, as well as all other podcast mediums, audio mediums, as well as the YouTube where this Passionate Pulse podcast is being hosted, and have poured me with immense amount of wishes, the heartfelt wishes I should say, that have flown to my way, as well as asking some right pinpointed questions in order for me to answer them in the next episodes. Or some of you have also booked some strategy sessions with Bootstrap Banter team, where we have been guiding some of the small scale businesses at a very early stage to grow further, to help them write with the business plans, find out what is the next strategy that they should be aligning with, what is the next help that they should seek for, or which is the right collaboration or the networking should have happened. And we have helped several businesses in this year, and I'm very proud to say that the Passionate Pulse podcast as well as the Bootstrap Banter series have helped immense passionate hearts to grow from their passion journeys. Their weekends projects have become literally their night and weekend projects. And some of them have also taken a leap and then have jumped into the full time growing their passion oriented journeys. So kudos to them who have done the phenomenal job with us and who have grown with this particular series, as well as the ones who are just tuning in and are exploring. Well, today is being a first anniversary of the Bootstrap Banter series, as well as the Passionate Pulse podcast over the radio and all the audio podcast mediums, as well as today being a new beginning for the United States, where we have got a new president as our 47th president, Donald Trump. We are looking forward what our new presidency, what our new political environment looks like, how our businesses are gonna impact with it, and what is it that will be flourishing as a country together. And looking forward for a lot of different angles, improvements. Of course, there is a hope. All this will go on, but I think it's a time that will decide whether this leadership is serving the innovative, creative hearts, opening up new businesses. And we are hopeful. We are always cheerful for that. So we are looking forward for the best to come and wish all the best for the new presidency and the new environment. And I'm also crossing my fingers and being very, very hopeful for all the small scale businesses as well as the mid scale businesses to flourish and nourish further. Well, having that said aside, what we have to do is, although the external affairs can do a lot of changes on a very prominent ways, the one thing that they cannot do is marching the journey from within. And that is something you all have to do it by yourself. You have to take your step further and go ahead and march your own journey. There is absolutely no substitution to that. You have to march your footsteps. You have to take that small action that you should be taking at your own level. Otherwise, what they say, like the universe will not conspire or, come together to help you or pull you further or, propel you in your bigger journey. So you have to take those tiny steps, right? So make sure that you're focused on that. The lot of things will come and go, but what will not go is your own growth and the learnings that you're taking from your own experiences, the experiments that you can take to learn more and more and grow your bootstrap to a sustainable business, as well as growing you as a very mature person to look at your venture and step aside and make sure that venture, that creative product, the service that you're building around is serving the most needed one. And you are being very, very committed to that journey to give the right results, bring your different expertise, different strengths, and gather your team to get this served better. Gathering a team is one of the very key factor that the bootstrapper should be considering. Outsourcing is kind of little difficult for a lot of us who are passion oriented, who have the strength and abilities to learn faster and also sort of, get hands on execution. But I must tell you that having someone working with you, having your mentors, maybe, outsourcing some of your work can expand your journey pretty fast or, can give you that excelling ramp faster than what you can even think. Of course, there is a lot of fun. There's a lot of pride that one can take when they are learning different angles of their own creation and kind of getting their hands dirty. There is also a weightage to the outsourcing, and today we are actually talking about how one should be focusing on outsourcing, how one should be focusing on building their own ecosystem network to grow further and rely and build their own resilience in any startup founder's journey, especially in the early stages. The most important fact that they sustain is their resilience. There is a stats that available that they say like almost 80 to 90% of the startups in few years of span they shut it down, and the reason being is they have not been resilient. Well, that might be true, but to me what it looks forward is what the study and the research have shown to me is most of the startups have to be folded because they are not marching in the right direction, and that that's where like they have come to the stage very late in terms of their resources to make that kind of hard decisions, and that's where these things happen. However, looking at what we are today we have immense number of tools available. Everything is at our fingertips, starting with lot of AI agents who can help you, or even the internet mass media from where you can reach to immense amount of platforms to find out what is needed the most. I think we are operating at a wonderful golden era to take some wide steps and not being in the boat of kind of exhaustive journey. So I think at every stage now there is a help available, and we are probably one or two clicks away from that help. The only thing that we have to shred off is the kind of cocoon or kind of barriers that you're trying to build yourself and becoming that a stiff person of not going forward and looking out what is really there for you to build your resilience. And that's where these ecosystems matters the most. So this is where we'll be focusing, that the Bootstrap Banter audience should be focusing, that's one of the wisest step that I can see that we tend to miss on it. There are many of us who are talented, who knows what your passion lies, what needs to be done, and start marching some baby steps here and there. And a lot of times they become random because there is no coherence that is being planned. A wonderful way to start with is with your vision chart. Why don't you sit together with your passion and just reserve time for yourself and see whether you can craft your entire dream vision with whichever passion you're taking. Maybe you want to craft the entire year's roadmap, that's factoring out your weekends or nights or whatever time that you're devoting. Say 2 hours a week you're devoting. In 52 weeks, how much hours that you're planning to invest? 104 hours or probably 110 hours, depending on is there any extra bonus that you can credit. In that 100 to 200 hours, what are you planning to do? Are you planning to devote all of them in order to create the products? Or are you also planning to reserve some 25 hours at least in order to constantly check your milestones, whether are you on the right track? Are you doing something new that's helping the community? Are you someone who is, serving some different stuff that is not existing, or are you someone who is serving the similar stuff that is already existing? Then how are you distinguishing yourself? If it's a new path altogether, then you are pretty much is an ace card in that field. The only thing that you need is the right positioning that that can help others to distinguish yourself. And one of the very key concept that kind of goes with the new or the perception positioning point of view is relate what exists in today or it has existed in the history, and get those examples and establish yourself as something that is not this but the new vision that we are gifting. The simple example that I can go with the Tesla being in the production, and when they wanted to adopt this particular concept with the mass, they simply said, the gas and fuel are the resources that something are not gonna be everlasting. So why don't you adopt to something that will last forever? And that's how the Tesla started positioning, and then electric vehicles started picking the boom, right? Now, many other bigger brands in automobile define the shift because of Tesla. And they figured out that this is the new way to go for. So that's the positioning that you want to adopt when you're doing something very new that perception doesn't exist today. But if you're someone who are doing with something existing, then you want to make sure that you sound very similar to others, but at the same time, what is your USP or Sudarshan Chakra, as I always call it, right? So that's the way you will position and go forward and build your entire years of vision around it. That if I am into this, I'm serving this USP, or I'm serving a different new brand altogether where I have experimental bandwidth, where I have a lot of room for mistakes, and where I can emerge from. That is something that you want to plan out and see what all intermittent experiments you can do. At the same time, how you can build your sustainable revenue from whatever the existing products that you have built or you're planning to build. So that's something is a business plan that you want to work out. And as we are, almost towards the end of the year, I think this is a very good time to sit together, especially the November month. I feel, one should devote to this exercise because, towards the November end and December, you really want to unwind, get refreshed, and, start something new. At the same time, take a break, take a chill pill and see what is really resonating with you and everything. Before even you start retrospecting how the year has gone, what you have done differently, what has worked, what has not worked, I would ask you to sit down fresh and create your vision board for 2025, that what exactly with your passion you're planning to do in the next year. What is that one key milestone that you want to achieve in the next year? Don't write overwhelming keystones, milestones that you want to achieve. Just write down one single output that you are looking forward to drive from 2025 from your passion emerging journey. Say, for example, you are at a very early stage and you don't know whether there is a business that you can create around, whether you are someone, who can be perceived as an authority in that field or whatever stage that you are in. Just sit down and truly analyze that where this graph is leading you to. Have you accumulated enough skills to quit your work, which is giving you right salary? Or are you at a stage where you still want to continue as your weekend or the night's project and craft your weekends in a very meaningful way for the next year to say achieve a journey to take out a part-time job and still get handsome amount of time to devote to your projects? Is it a stage that is a right decision to make? If not, what are the steps that you should be planning on and that is your outcome that you want to achieve? So I would say sit down very, very freely with yourself and see where you want to head out next year. Don't retrospect what you have done till today. Don't even analyze what has gone wrong. Just focus on where you want to head. And that's the very exercise that most of us don't attempt fresh and we kind of, get stumbled upon. So that's my personal advice to you. And this is the same advice that I'm implementing in this month, irrespective of what has gone wrong, what has gone right, irrespective of however things that I have achieved, the type of consultations that I've started, where things needs to fine tune or anything. I'm simply sitting straight, fresh, and analyzing on 2025. This is the milestone I wanna achieve. And now that I have decided this is the milestone I want to achieve, I will also look back and attempt to it whether this milestone that I've set is very, very optimistic, is pessimistic, or kind of doable optimistic mode. You have to find out those modes. Otherwise, what will happen is you're probably shooting out to the Mars and you don't have any the spaceship plan, right? That should not be happening. So you have to have somewhere realistic goals to be aligned. And one more technique that I have learned after that is once you derive that particular goal, or once you define that particular outcome, come back 3 stages back and plan your C, B, and A stages. For example, you want to set out your own business, a small scale business that you want to register in the new year and start hitting the revenue to meet your at least small scale business tax fees, right? At least that much revenue you should be earning, or that much of profit you should be looking forward to. So, in order to ballpark, let's say simple $800 a tax that LLC costs for a single member. If you are planning to join any partners, probably it's more. So let's say on a ballpark, $1,000 is a revenue that you want to achieve after your operational cost is made, right? So, how you want to structure around the products, how you want to sell your services or products throughout the year just to meet that particular bar. And I must tell you, it's very difficult to sell in the initial stages versus once you're established. $1,000 goal sometimes sounds very silly, but to be honest, those who have taken the steps, they understand that it is very, very hard. It's a lot of sweat and a lot of blood that goes into that $1,000 to one. So plan your, just structure it around and find out what could be your avenues. What is your marketing cost, in order to get the visibility to even encash that particular opportunity? Which all the mediums that you should be visible to? And this way you sit down, relax, and write down those mini skill steps around that goal to figure out, what are your 3 steps to align with. Once you get those 3 steps, I think planning your 3 quarters, the first year's quarters, become very, very easy. So you want to do that, right? And I think, it can start bringing some structure to your life. It can start bringing some meaning to your time, and also crafting your month's milestone. And make sure you reserve time every month to analyze whether, whatever that you have set out to do have been achieved. If not, what were the reasons? And if not, what are some improvement steps that you can take? Sometimes what happens is like we ourselves can do some greatest planning, which can go on the board, which can go on the papers. But when the execution starts, you understand a lot of nuances that you have just not, and factor it while you are doing some of the planning. And that's where this agile methodology comes into the picture, which many of the workplaces, tech, non tech, are adopting today, right? There is always a consideration of an unknown factor, and that particular weight is assigned and the time is reserved. So, you want to do that and you want to implement that agile methodology in your planning and make sure there is a room for imperfection, there is a room for unknowns, there is a room for exploration and experimentation. In the last week, when I was strategizing with someone on, and we were working on their business plan, one important factor, or one of the question that my client asked me was, Pranali, how do you reserve a room for experimentation? And I have never done that. When I told her that you don't have any experimenting room, you don't have anything that will help you fail. You don't have anything that will help you explore something new directions. And you are not accounting just for that. You're not having a time to do that. You are so busy with your operational ligaments that you just don't have a room to think fresh. And if you don't think fresh, you're not gonna be innovative. You're not gonna be peaceful in order to, attempt something new that is needed, or to build around your USPs. And then that person asked me, that's the right thing. But I just don't know how to do that because I'm so busy in, day out to work on what is happening, or, what has to be a sustainable model, that I just can't. I'm like, if you can't, then you have to, right? If you can't, is a situation which is in the past, or, whatever that you have set up with, but you can is a possibility and a hope that you can go with. So, how you can do that? And then we literally sat down to figure out how you can make a room for that experimentation, how you can make a room for marching your next journey with an imperfection, and then achieve some different sort of deltas that you have not thought about it. This is a very magical quotient when you get into this experimental zone. And if you lose out on that, I must tell you that lot of businesses become stagnant, lot of creative journeys become stagnant, and stagnancy is a case, or is a stage which is just not sustainable in the long run. So you have to keep improvising every day, or maybe a small of a improvement can help you march an inch of an improvement in a month, and that inches altogether in a year gives you a great delta of progress that you have not imagined. So this is the experiment you want to do this month as a bootstrap banter, or the passionate heart, and then see whether this is helping you to, calm you down to attempt fresh next year. And before even you go towards the end of the year for analysis case or the retrospective case, you want to make sure that there is something that is solid for you to look forward to. And then we, of course, go over next after 15 days. We'll go over how you want to do your retrospective analysis and see where you want to, have the improvised areas and everything. But this is a fresh exercise that you must do before the year ends and before the new year starts. And of course, the fresh attempt is something that will help you really analyze better when you are sitting down for the retrospective time. So that's one thing that I must tell you, that this is something that you should be doing as a bootstrap banter audience today or in this week. But make sure you reserve that particular hour to sit with yourself and, do something. Irrespective, those who are starting new to this passion journey and those who haven't heard our previous episodes, go to Apple, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, or any of the podcast mediums that you're listening in this world, and tune into the Bootstrap Banter episodes and see which are the steps that you should be taking in your passion oriented journey as in a very early stages. Irrespective, if you're not sure what is your passion and what you should be aligning with, and you're someone who are looking forward to march your journey, well, go to passionatepulse.com and go and check out some handbooks that are there. Some resources are free to download, and just get an access to them and discover your passion is one handbook that I would recommend if you are someone who are looking forward that, really where I'm aligning, should I be starting my weekend project? Should I be starting my nights project? And which is that one area that I should be focusing myself? So why don't you go over to passionatepulse.com or download the free resources that are available and sit together for that exercise. And I must tell, like that book is telling you exactly how to sit, what to do, how to attempt a particular question. So it's an exercise in itself that you would actually do it with, one of the coaches. And this is something that you are someone who wants to, give it a try by yourself. I think that's an amazing resource to check out. Lot of my audience have read that book, have done those exercises, and have started many of the chapters that they had not thought about it. So, well, we can dwell into that later. But today, I must tell you that as a early stage founders or as an early stage passionate heart, one thing that you should be focusing in this particular quarter, November, December, and Jan, is getting relaxed and finding your ecosystem. Because many a times, once the year starts, or lot of things have already started at your work situations, your passion oriented journey is gearing up, and you are very busy in executing some of the important milestones and working hard and building hard towards achieving those milestones. So, right now, the smart step you should be taking is find out which is the right ecosystem that you should be a part of. Which are some of the great networking events that you should be going to, and see whether you find like minded people, or, is there any small meetups that is something that will help you boost your journey. And as a part of extension to this Bootstrap Banter, we are opening one of the meetup that's happening on 22nd of November, Friday evening, 5:30 onwards. It's a coffee meetup that we have. Me and my co-founder Vida, we both are, opening up the new series called as the Bold Beginning series. And in this Bold Beginning meetup series, well, the first one is happening in Silicon Valley in person. Next ones we are planning as a webinar, but the first one will be in the in person for this South Bay, San Francisco area, where we are planning to meet very early startup founders or early passionate hearts. We are planning to gather and just share some of the expertise with each other, network with each other, and at the same time there is a small workshop that we have curated for you to take certain exercises, go back and attempt. So if you want to register for that, go ahead and passionatepulse.com and register for our upcoming meetup that's happening on 22nd of November evening. That is a meetup. Who should be attending if I have to answer that question? If you are someone who are exploring your passion oriented journeys, if you are someone who is at a very early stages and need to explore that, how somebody can take the bold steps, then this is a meetup for you. If you are someone already seasoned entrepreneur, or seasoned in your own passion oriented journeys, but are still lacking some of the ecosystem, are still looking to vent out and just see whether others are also facing the similar problems that you are, then this is a meetup to explore. This is a meetup where we all are gathering. It's an unconference style meetup. Although there is not much of an agenda set, there is still some agenda that we Bootstrap Banter, the frontiers are driving, so that there is a tone that gets set up, and then rest of there is an open mic situation where all of you will gather and will be talking something or the other. And the The best part of that unconference style event that we are planning to produce is a lot of passionate hearts that once they have been gathered around, what we are planning to do is we are planning to record some of their bold beginning stories, whichever that they have taken in their venture side. And we are taking the best of the stories to, float around all our social medias, all our podcasting mediums, including YouTube, Insta, FB, and, lot more mediums that you can think of. That's something that innovative that we are planning to do. We are creating a new series called as Bold Blitz. And in the Bold Blitz, all of you will gather to tell your bold beginnings, and it's gonna be a fun time to look forward to. So you're someone who is marching your journey, the passion oriented journey. You are someone getting seasoned. You're someone who is looking to scale up, and you're someone who is looking forward for the next strategy to come in, but at the same time need a right ecosystem, right friends by your side who are also, kind of in the same boat as you are, and, kind of going to the same problems, same tensions, same struggles. Well, this is a plan. This is an event. You must attend. And I'm sorry if, somebody out there cannot make it in person because it's kind of in the Silicon Valley. For them, we'll be opening a next webinar, which is coming up soon, and it will have the similar structure. Of course, it's an online meetup, but that's something we're not planning to do it now. It will be in the month of January. So let's begin and let's start rolling the ball in person because I also feel now enough is enough on online. So many things that we are anyways doing online nowadays. And especially for a lot of solopreneurs or, small business owners, one thing that they lack is a real human touch, is a real human shoulder to cry upon. And right, the once you're an entrepreneur or once you're a passionate heart marching the journey in a very unconventional way, you really don't have that shoulder in your family and friends around unless you have been surrounded with similar mindset who are also having their own journeys. Otherwise, it's a very difficult situation to many of us to explain that what you're going through and why you're deeply down today or why you're spreadingly up today. So these are the things that are, I feel that the ecosystem can resolve. And, I'm a person who really enjoys people around. I'm a person who really enjoys the real people around, to be, let's put it that way. Of course, the online meetups have its own structure and texture and time saving ways to connect. But sometimes in person, there are a lot of behaviors, there are a lot of unconscious things that can happen. And feel fresh. We absolutely feel fresh. So if you're someone, who knows that what it feels like remotely working all day long from your home office or from your co-working spaces, just going out in a fresh environment, grabbing a coffee with some unknown buddies have helped you and have given you a new perspective, have made you neutralize from your existing whatever situations that you are in. And I think that meetup is, gonna be that fresh gateway for most of you who are looking forward for that kind of a time. So let's gather together on 22nd of November for the bold beginnings, and let's explore and let's see whether that networking is helping all of you to, pitch your businesses, to help you get ready on your next pitches, to find your right ecosystem, to get some of the important decisions to talk about. For example, I remember that there is one meetup that we did online, and in that meetup a lot of us were discussing about the hiring problems that early startup founders of all of us are suffering from. Although there are many portals from where you can hire people, at the same time trust becomes an issue. I mean, you can validate, you can read reviews, and everything is great. Sometimes the interviews goes excellent, but when it comes down to the practical work to be delegated and get the result out, many of us have really burnt out the hands. And that time we think, oh my god, I wish I could have known some, particular area about this particular resource, or I wish, somebody else would have suggested me their best resources to me. And this could not have happened because, we two are just not knowing each other. And how that can happen? Then these are the sort of meetups, these are the sort of networking events that you must go to and seek a help. And well, this particular the coffee meeting that we are planning to set, which is unconference style, is absolutely to do that. You will be able to pitch about your businesses, what you're doing, what are the challenges that you're solving very nicely, what are the challenges that you have and you think that somebody else has it or no? Or is it just you who is just sitting in a cozy environment and thinking about that this is a problem or this is a real issue to be solved? So, how people are, looking at this particular situation. So, I think that a networking event which is happening on 22nd of November evening in town of Silicon Valley is going to be helpful. And don't get upset if you're not from this area. For different geographies, we will have different meetups chapters going on and also webinars that will be coming up soon. And if you're someone listening to this podcast from some other parts of the world and looking forward to take these bold beginning chapters ahead, feel free to contact me on pranali@passionatepulse.com or simply buzz me on 34120900102 and just reach out and say that I'm looking forward to be a chapter leader of a bold beginners, and we are here to see who are the right sort of a fit, who are right people who can be our leaders in the next geography chapters. Well, having said that, I must give a strong emphasis on why the strong ecosystem matters. A lot of people, a lot of passionate hearts sometimes overlook the fact that the strong ecosystem can give you immense amount of benefits, starting with lot of access to the resources that you have not thought about, the type of financial resources that are available in your town, that some of the grants that are available, or some of the investors who ready to have funds in particular segments, but you're just not aware about them. So financial support can come from these resources. Mentorship, which is, I feel that's a great resource to have it on a board. With mentorship, lot of lives can change. And I've seen lot of small businesses have flourished because of the mentorship. I'll definitely, deep dive into some of the examples. But, these are like some of the benefits that the resources can bring in. Knowledge sharing from, each other, your peers, and sometimes even some of the co-working spaces that are right fit for you can come across and can provide you that ecosystem. So when I was talking about the mentorship, which becomes one of the great card to have it, right? So I'll tell you some of the examples that have done phenomenal job to various businesses, starting with one business that most of the women's are adoring now in India and South Asian countries, which is a Nika brand, Falguni Nair's Nika brand, that leveraged the mentorship from investment experts and also India's evolving e-commerce ecosystem to create this top beauty retail platform. But the Nika received amazing mentorship, in order to flourish. One example, which is something that we all love it, which is nothing but a Ben and Jerry's ice cream. It's a started as a very small ice cream parlor in Vermont, right? A very local ice cream parlor that scaled nationally. Of course, the product is great, a lot of unique flavors that we are looking forward to, and the commitment to the social causes with Ben and Jerry's ice cream that we look forward to. But at the same time, what we are missing out is the founders, Ben Cohen and Jerry Greenfield. They received amazing mentorship from their business partners and local entrepreneurs in Vermont, along with, of course, the ongoing support from businesses from the Vermont. And they really grew massively nationwide. So that's an example to look forward, that coming from a Vermont small place and going so nationwide and, scaling up the business from the passion have taken it to the next levels. There is another brand that I must talk about, in terms of this food and all, is the Innocent Drink, which is the UK company, and it's a very healthy smoothies kind of a company, right? It was also a very local business in UK that grew to the large scale business because of the eco-friendly practices and engaging branding. That's one part. But other part is the mentorship that Innocent Drink received, right? In the early advices that they received to become, what they are today from Virgin Group, which is Richard Branson, of course, the big name, but very early advice that they received. And that's how they got invaluable insights and networking opportunity, because of the Virgin Group. And that contributed to the rapid growth that they had not imagined when they were beginning. Of course, Chipotle is one great example of mentorship and the ecosystem that they got in. Initially, Chipotle was backed up by McDonald's, right? That helped them scale quickly, that provided them the franchisee recipe and a secret sauce, and a lot of things to founder Steve Wells, which, received the guidance and the key figures in the restaurant industry. So I think, they leverage all this accumulated knowledge, the experience of somebody else, and a lot of learning lessons from it that really helped them operate well, create the right supply chain, which was very critical in terms of, scaling up the business that they were in. So these are like some of the very handful examples that I can point out. And one of the best example, to look forward is the honey. Ryan Hudson and George Ruan launched this coupon app, Honey, which, because of the early mentorship and financial backing from LA Tech Network, that just led them to its success and phenomenal acquisition that, went with PayPal. I think the Honey, when, Ryan Hudson and George were working on it, they had not imagined that, their graph can be so rapid, so quick. But with the mentorship and a lot of network accessibility, I think it helped them a lot. Another example to talk about, when it came down to networking and because of the mentorship that thought and have expanded enough is the Robinhood, the commission free trading app, which most of us are using to trade the stocks. Which is, of course, the great mentorship from our own area of Silicon Valley, and that enabled the founders to build an accessible financial platform in the retail investing line. So look at the graph that mentorship, the networking, and the support system can bring you. I don't have to boast this enough, but non-tech and the tech both need this in order to emerge and scale forward. So, if I have to, even talk about a simple blog that made it awesome, is a Glossier, Emily Weiss, the founder, which, leveraged the mentorship and the support from this beauty community and investors. Literally, she turned her beauty blog into a cut favorite skincare and a makeup brand. I mean, look at the journey. She started with blogging and where she ended up with. So, I mean, it's not ended up, it's still improvising. I'm taking my words back. But the fact is, this is how the mentorship networking can do to your passion oriented journeys. A simple blog can become tomorrow's, adorable product or, adorable service that you are looking forward to. There are several examples I can go on and on, but that's where you have to think back that do you have the right ecosystem to talk about? Do you have the right resources to span, scale up? If not, then what are some small steps that you can take forward to march onto this path? Is there someone who can help you introduce to different avenues that can align to your places? Is there someone to whom you can look up as a collab, to whom you can look up to guide? Is there someone who can help you get all the peers gathering together? And then, can you vouch onto that community? You have to look forward to that. And if you don't know any of such community, Bootstrap Banter does have that community. And we are gathering as a part of the Bold Beginners chapter on 22nd of November. Do come and witness, what's happening in the room, how you can showcase your journey, how you can take help from each other, how you can build your resilience, and how you can move forward along with the strategy, along with what others are doing. It also gives you the shoulder to cry, the shoulder to vouch and feel proud, and also become each other's accelerators. or the, what should I say, a new term called as the accountability partners that you can get in this particular avenues. Just see whether you want to learn from others in this matter. And of course, sometimes we need a lot of research and a validation when we are at certain stages in our marching journey. Whether it's an early stage, whether it's a little bit of a season stage, we always need that research and validation with the market to ensure the product market fit. Leveraging the resources for, initial validation is something that is a very critical step. And sometimes your friends and families can't be the right source, or can't be the right proofreaders for you. So you have to get into the right proofreaders ecosystem, and that's what the network collapse can help you emerge with. So this community building and part of the right communities sometimes can help you propel your journeys. There are a lot of communities which can come absolutely free of cost, or some communities can come at some coffee cost. See and try out. I must say that just open your wings, open yourself, and see what works for you. Sometimes voluntary based organizations are doing phenomenal jobs for initial networking. Sometimes the paid campaigns or the paid communities are giving the right resources for you to boost yourself, or get you from A to C stage very fast. So see which is the right investment for you, and look forward for those, irrespective whether you come for the bold beginners webinars, bold beginners meetup. You have to see what is the right community where you can leverage your passion oriented journey. Developing an essential skills, just start focusing on that. Some of the soft skills as a passion hearted entrepreneurs need to avail. Lot of time, if somebody is coming from a job situation to this solopreneurship or entrepreneurship, they struggle with lot of soft skills. Lot of us are having the social stigmas in some of the other ways, or some of the other barriers that you cannot just break out. So these events, these meetups, these workshops absolutely help in breaking your these kind of barriers, and help you develop the essential skills. Think about someone who has never spoken before, and then that person is leading some business, and tomorrow, as a part of an engagement, that person has to sit for the sales calls, because in the initial times you just simply cannot keep hiring people and make your business work. So that is a soft skill in itself. And you have two options. You do it a rookie way, where you try by yourself multiple times and gain the skills in a very hard and an exhaustive way. Or other option is learn those skills, go to such events, go to such workshops, and gather some corners that you have not thought about, or practice your pitches with these peers who are not judging you but are there to help you improvise from your improvise your stages that you are in, and they are deeply vouching, or the deeply rooting for your success. Go with them. It's an investment in itself. Considering an year wastage of making a sale and not having a sales done, it's better to pay a very delta amount of fees and get double the amount of sales happening versus happening none, right? So I think that's some of the perspectives that I just gave you to be with the right ecosystem, workshops, meetups that can help you leverage and get you more meaningful, mindful relationships to offer for, or to get access to. As an entrepreneur, although we say that there are not much of a friends in your own way, see, you can always get a support from your family when you get into the entrepreneurship. The support that you need is very different from just spreading out the words, right? The support that you need is to really understand the problems that you're facing through, and really hearing out someone that, oh, they are also going through the similar problems that I am in. And that kind of gives sigh of relief sometime, or also sometimes opens up to new solutions that you have not thought about. There are many circles in the similar niche runs, right? For example, if somebody is suffering from cancer, You must have seen there are ample of cancer circles that runs for their family, for the patients, and what they do, what really the circles really help them. Circles helps them to boast their journey, moves their heart to see somebody else going through the same, and gathers them the courage to take that day, day by day basis, or whatever that coming in, they are ready to face. And that ready to face attitude sometimes come from the right ecosystem to be in. If you are someone who want to march this amazing startup journey, whether you're in a tech or a non-tech, I think the ecosystem can fetch you this kind of a support that you will otherwise not get it. Because, a lot of peers are in the similar boat. You know that they are also shaping up in the similar way. They are also going through the similar challenges. And these are the right people sometimes can, really echo your situations or give you the solutions that have worked for them, and I think that boosts a lot of confidence. I mean, it is worth trying out such meetups, such networking events. So I must welcome all of you to 22nd of November's The Bold Beginning chapter that we are opening in Silicon Valley first. Come for this coffee meeting. If you don't know how to register, go to passionatepulse.com. You'll find on the homepage itself how to register for that event, what you should expect, what you should bring, and how you should, enjoy this particular meetup that we are planned to. And make sure your story gets presented in the Bold Blitz media. We are looking forward for all of you. And as a key takeaway from this episode, remember this month, one thing that you are doing is absolutely not thinking what has gone wrong, not retrospecting on what has gone good as well, but starting fresh and planning your next year's milestone, only one milestone, not many. One milestone and working around it. Second thing, if you don't know which is your passion, go ahead to passionatepulse.com, download the ebooks that are available and start working on your passion, and then see how you can make from passion to pursuit. There are a couple of books available for your handy help. And the third thing is the meetup networking that you must do. Find out what are the right avenues for you. And if you want to be a part of the Bold Blitz, if you want to be the part of the Bold Beginners chapter, I welcome you on 22nd of November, Silicon Valley's event that is happening in person, the coffee meeting, Friday evening. Let's have a blast. Let's share a lot of insights and let's have some fun. So, see you all, and let me know how this episode has turned out to, what you like to hear out in the next episode, and where else you need help on. We are here for all your strategy consultations, business consultations, helping you out to get you that fuel going in the passionate heart. See you, take care, and make sure you relax in this month. Thank you. Have a good bye. Discover how Milap, India's leading crowdfunding platform, is making it easier for its 0.32 million US donors to give back. From donor advised funds to corporate donation matching, explore the simple ways to make a difference with just a click. Visit milap.org to learn more about how you can make a difference where it matters the most. Are you a passionate entrepreneur eager to connect, learn, and grow? Whether you're just starting out or scaling up, the Bold Beginnings Meetup is your chance to fuel your startup spirit. Join us for coffee, inspiring conversations, and networking with like minded change makers. It's the perfect place to turn your passion into action and make bold moves alongside others who share your drive. Are you ready to make your mark? Register now at passionatepulse.com. Limited seats available. Hello, Passionate Pulse listeners. Pranali here, your host. Are you a business owner looking to amplify your brand's reach? Or maybe you know an expert who deserves the mic. This is your moment. Advertise with us or recommend a fascinating guest for our podcast. Dial at 341-209-0102 and let's make your story roar. Passionate Pulse Podcast, where your tales ignite. Call us now at 341-209-0102. Let's champion the spirit of positive change together.